good morning. It is Thursday morning. Don't turn it on, please. And we are in the middle of working on our lunch today. And today lunch is going to be beef over biscuits. Now I made the gravy a couple days ago. Well, it wasn't the gravy. I made the bone broth. I'm going to make the gravy right now. Biscuits are in the oven. There are the biscuits, and the little pieces are Mary's biscuits. Thank you very much, Mary. And this is the bone broth gravy that's going to turn into gravy. And what I need to do is actually skim off some of that fat, and we're going to make the roux, and then I'm going to put it in here. And then while I'm making the roux with that, I'm going to start flavoring up the meat. And this is all the fat that actually came out of those bones. It is. That's why it's called bone broth. Would you like to see, Grace? Yeah. All right. You ready? Here we go. Oh, come on, kiddo. How's it look? Good. Does it look good? It'll taste a lot better once we get going. So this is what you really want your bone broth to look like. You want to get all that gelatin out of the bones. And this was just an hour under pressure in the Instant Pot. It really works. Look at that. I have my Instant Pot right here, and I'm going to use the saute feature on it to make the gravy. Because I made the broth originally in the Instant Pot, instead of me trying to switch pots. I'm just going to have the Instant Pot be my stove, and we'll get this going. All right, I need to flavor this next and then make the roux. Some of you may be going, ugh, she's making a roux? What on earth is that? And pretty much a roux, they are getting bigger. Those biscuits are getting a lot bigger, aren't they? Are you hungry? All right, so a roux is pretty much just fat and flour cooked together. No, I'm going to be using this. Hi, Art. I'm definitely running behind. So it's just fat and flour put together and cooked until it's brown, like a gravy, and then you add that to your juices left over from whether it be a turkey or chicken, or in this case I'm using the bone broth, and that's pretty much how you make a roux, and then use that to make gravy. Super simple. Don't be intimidated if you've never done it. You can't really ruin it. It just takes a little bit of time and practice, but it makes your food taste so wonderful. Art, when I say roux, what do you think? Do you think cooking?
Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh. What do you think, Miss Lillian? If your fat is already hot, it's not going to be coagulated. So I'm just going to turn the stove on until this is melted, and then we're going to add our flour to it. This is after less than a minute. You can see how that fat has just melted right away, and we'll get ready for our flour. And generally the rule for making a roux is equal amounts of flour and fat. Again, I'm just using a spoon and sort of adding some flour. You don't want so much that your gravy is clumped. In fact, I have a funny story about that. Back when I first moved to this house, I'd only been married a couple years. I cooked a turkey, and it was a turkey or a chicken, and I had it was either a half a cup or a cup of fat. So I went, okay, equal parts of fat and flour. I had so much flour and stuff that I added it to my gravy, the juice, except it was so much flour and fat that the gravy was like you could just stick a spoon in it. So then I had to keep adding more broth and more broth and more broth, and I had well over a gallon of gravy from that mistake. I froze it, I used it, none of it went to waste, but my neighbor and I always laugh about the time that I made a gallon of gravy. Ooh, the biscuits are done, yay, and we have all of Mary's little samples. There they are. Yeah, no, we'll just put them on the plate up here until they cool. No. Yummy. I love it when biscuits look like this. Would you like your little sample in your bowl? Don't eat it. It's too hot, okay?
Yeah, I'm going to save it for later.
All right, that works for me. All right, that's our pile of biscuits. Now I gotta get going on this gravy. After I make my roux, I will put this in with the beef and the broth. However, I want to flavor my beef and broth first. And because we're in the middle of a clean out challenge, I am trying to get rid of, Mary's here helping me. I'm trying to get rid of a bunch of odds and ends. So it probably is not gonna come out the same twice, but that's how it goes. I'm just gonna add some different seasonings. This one is an older Watkins beef seasoning. Here, Mary, you can put this in your hand and add that. All right. And then I'm going to be adding some beef bouillon because that really is what's going to help this taste a lot better. Yep. Ready? Here we go. Dump it in. If you try to flavor this after you've added the roux, it just does not taste the same. Careful, don't spill. Oh, did you eat your tiny little biscuit?
Yeah.
Was it good?
I can't have it all by myself.
Okay, I'm gonna need scissors for this one. Tiny little biscuit. We will have biscuits with our lunch and our beef, okay? Okay, you can dump that in. Ready? Don't drop the plastic paper in.
No.
How's that? Is it that empty? Give it a little squirt, squirt, like that. All right. So now give it a stir, Mary. Can you put this on the table for Mommy, please? Over there. All right, so I'll show you what it looks like now. This is after, come on, camera, there we go. This is after 2 things of beef bouillon. I'm gonna add a little bit of garlic powder to it. Yep, that's the meat in the bottom. Yum. Just a little, we're just adding a little bit. Okay, that's good. And then I'm gonna grab a spoon and taste it. It's pretty bland. It has good flavor, but it doesn't have enough salt. So I'm gonna add some salt to it, and it's probably a little bit of black pepper. All right, a little bit of salt and pepper, and a little bit more onion soup mix flavoring to it, and it's perfect. The broth is all flavored. The roux is hot, so now I'm gonna start adding some flour to it. I'm gonna probably start with, I'm gonna say about 4 tablespoons. We'll mix it up and see if that's enough. Not yet. 1 and 4. Go ahead and give this a mix. Yeah, that looks just about right. So sometimes it's going to be more watery and sometimes it's going to be thicker. It's fine. We're just going to cook this until it starts to brown. It might even start to smoke a little bit, but it's all right. It's going to add a lot of flavor to our gravy.
Well, Janelle is making her food. I went out to the garden and I got the end of the patty pans. It's just a little dirt there, no problem. And the end of the beans.
While you're cooking this flour and grease, you want to constantly stir this and don't stop because we don't want this to burn. And you can see it's just starting to change colors and it might even be smoking a little bit. We'll let it go a little bit longer and then add it to our juice.
I'm just getting ready to make the hummus. I know it should have been done yesterday, but it wasn't. Are you ready?
This is just starting to smoke. It's nice and brown. You can see that. And we're going to add this to our broth over here. I'm going to add a little bit at a time. Not sure how much I'm going to actually need. Woo! I did something funky with the flour. It's almost like a cornmeal. That's weird. That was not enough roux and flour just because this was not very fatty for the amount of liquid that I had in here. So I'm going to go to my old standby flour and water slurry and thicken this up. The slurry is just what it sounds like. It's flour and water until it's, you want to whisk it together so it's nice and smooth. And then I'm going to pour this in at the same time I'm whisking it. Not sure how much I'm actually going to need. Nope, don't want those lumps in there. Then you have lumpy gravy. And we'll just let this cook for a minute and this should thicken up.
Now Janelle is going to check out the hummus. What do you think?
That's good.
It is? Wow. We did a good job, Mary.
Yeah.
So I ended up adding a little bit more flour and water And it's just about right how I want. I don't want it super thick because we want those biscuits to suck up all that juice. But you just keep doing that until you get the right consistency. And it's got the meat already in there. You can see all the meat in there. Taste it. It's really good.
Dad, taste my cookie.
Oh, yummy.
Can you show that you made
Delicious.
my cookie?
Who's
Just
hungry?
saying.
Ready to eat?
Lydia wants to show you her cookie that she made. It looks yummy. It's Play-Doh though, so it's just a pretend cookie.
Here it comes out the bowl.
Mary's going to help. Okay, let's just take the whole pan and dump it in. Ready?
Yes.
Here we go.
We need to run inside of it.
Yeah, don't put your hands in. We pour in some olive oil. Okay, and some lemon juice. Just a little bit. A little more. Okay, that's good. Charity is working on making some grits casserole, and one of you guys gave us this recipe. And over here we have the sausage that's been cooked up. We have about an hour before dinner time, and I'm going to work on my list, and this is stuff that I want to get done before the end of the month. So right now we're going to work on cleaning up our front gardens. We're working hard. Mary is helping to scoop up leaves into the buckets, and Lydia is squishing them, and John's raking. Oh, are you trying to save some worms' lives? That's a good thing to do.
I only found a couple worms, and then I put them back in the garden.
Okay, well keep going here. Mary, put some more leaves in. And I'll get back to raking. And Peter is bringing the leaves back to the pile.
And I found another pill bug.
Oh. Now Janelle's going at it too, and we are getting this job done fast. We're going to try to get it done before dinner. And I'm going to put this camera down and get back to work. We got the gardens cleaned out, and it looks a lot better than it did. I won't say it's perfect, but much improvement. We got one more check, clean out front flower gardens.
We all did that.
Oh. And there's the grits casserole that Charity made, and the beans. We are ready for dinner. I don't think we got any videos after dinner tonight, but after dinner we took John to Civil Air Patrol, and then Janelle had a whole bunch of parties. I think she had 3 parties for 31 tonight, and so that kept her busy. Let's see, and then I did some editing, and it's getting late, so I'm ready to go to bed. I'll see you tomorrow.